After several weeks of negotiations, the United States debt ceiling debate seems to have ended in an agreement. President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy have averted a fatal economic default. A compromise has been reached and both have agreed in principle to raise the debt ceiling. McCarthy has called the agreement worthy of the American people. The debt rise, however, still needs Congress approval. Meanwhile, the Treasury Department has warned that the U.S. will run out of money on the 5th of June without a deal. The United States will have to borrow money to fund its government because it spends more than it raises in taxes. However, Republicans have been seeking spending cuts in education and other social programs in exchange for raising the debt limit.
We've got good news. Just spoke with Speaker McCarthy, and we've reached a bipartisan budget agreement that we're ready to move to the full Congress. And I think it's a really important step forward, and it takes the threat of catastrophic default off the table, protects our hard-earned and historic economic recovery, and the agreement also represents a compromise, which means no one got everything they want. But that's the responsibility of governing. And this is a deal is good news, I believe you'll see, for the American people. The agreement prevents the worst possible crisis, a default for the first time in our nation's history. An economic recession, retirement accounts devastated, millions of jobs lost. It also protects key priorities and accomplishments and values that congressional Democrats and I have fought long for.
We will abide by 72 hours. This will not be thousands of pages. This will be about 150 pages or less. Not only will the members be able to read it, the public will be able to see it as well. I wanted to make sure that the members actually got the information about the bill before it's read to all of you. I'm trying to change the House where it works again. We know at any time when you sit and negotiate within two parties that you got to work with both sides of the aisle. So it's not 100% what everybody wants, but when you look, the country is going to be stronger. This is going to be transformational, where Congress is literally going to vote to spend less money this year than we spent last year.
Some of the sentiment coming from your members, from Ken Buck, he said that he's appalled by the spending. Ralph Norman calling it insanity. Even if you can afford to lose some of those conservative members, do you worry that someone, because any one of them could, would bring a motion to vacate?
Not at all.
Are you worried about losing your job?
Not at all. Not at all.
Speaker, how confident are you today that this bill will pass on Wednesday?
Look, I think people are going to sit there and read it. I think it's good for the American public. You're going to have Republicans and Democrats be able to move this to the president. The president agreed with this bill as well. This is a good, strong bill that a majority of Republicans will vote for. Yes, ma'am.
We don't know exactly everything in the deal, but it does seem that with the support of President Biden on behalf of the Democrats and some very positive spin and signs from Republicans, that this is a relatively small deal, but gets the job done. Raises the debt limit, maybe some freeze, slight cutback in federal spending. We might think that perhaps President Biden sort of dodged a bullet here, used the full powers of his office, and came out with a deal that Democrats can certainly live with. The deal will go straight to the House. There is a House rule, we call it the 72-hour rule, and Speaker McCarthy has said he will not waive that rule, which a majority could do. 72 hours for House members to review the text of the bill. There's a couple of procedural votes, and then it comes up or down vote on the House floor. Presumably, it's been promised for this Wednesday, probably late on this Wednesday of this week. Then it's off to the Senate. And the issue here is that any single senator can block swift passage. And if any single senator does object to swift passage, then there are a set of procedural steps that have to take place. And those steps could take as long as a week. But the key at the end of the day for the Senate is you need at least 60 senators willing to pass the bill. And that, keep in mind, if everybody's there, there's only 51 Democrats. So there will have to be sizable coalitions from both political parties to get this through the Senate and then off to the president for his signature.